Yes. We are here. Many of us are here, many collectives actually, because we like these conversations very much. So we are of service to you for your questions. And there is also uh, beings here who are just observing and amusing the interaction, sensing your reactions to the information, and able to connect into others who are listening. So this is very interesting. Please continue with your questions.
Oh, thank you. I have recently become aware that there is a class of beings called the divines, and they're fond of using phrases such as the divine plan um, and source's plan. Um, and I would like to know more about these beings called the divines, and if there indeed there is a divine plan separate from these beings, or is it solely connected to these beings? And if so, is it of the best interest for humanity?
Yes, their intentions are the best for humanity from their perspective. And as you know, everyone has their different viewpoints on how things should and shouldn't be, and what is best for others. So the divine beings are actually a collection of what we would call, we don't want to say watchers, but we don't want to say the architects of this planet. We're wanting to say that these are divine beings in a higher dimension than you are, and they are here to support the planet. So they are not the masters of the planet. They are not personal guides as such. They are what you could possibly want to refer to them as a collection of Turians and other species. So they are not from a separate planet. They are not conscious. They are conscious consciousnesses versus. Well, some of them are consciousnesses and not physical beings. They like the term. They like the term the divine beings because they feel very what is the word? They feel like they have created a higher perspective, and they are the creators of encouraging people to open their mindsets and to have their awakening. They have been termed in many books angels to some degree. There's many of them, so it's not just a handful. And so they have been throughout your history trying to help and guide humanity. So we know that humans love labels, and there is many groups, many sectors of different beings that are helping your planet at this time. We see that some people, some channelers have picked up on this collective and want to refer to them as the divine because they have a frequency of higher frequency vibrations that is sublime. It is very relaxing, very uplifting, and very balancing for the soul. So the people who connect into the divine is very comfortable with that information because they are having a beautiful perspective and not going into fear. And their divine plan is to awaken humanity to remember unconditional love serves all. Their divine plan is to help humanity feel responsible for their own individual roles to feed into the collective. You have connected to the divine many times yourself because it is merely part of the role that many beings do when they are here helping and being of service to humanity.
Okay, thank you for that. Um, yes, thank you for that. I also have a question about ascended masters. I would like to know more about who they are and what they do, and how they are assisting humanity at this time.
Mm. So, Ascended Masters is a being, a soul strand of essences, extensions upon extensions upon extensions of self that have come to this planet and other planets and have fulfilled all of the experiences one can have and master the experience that that planet and being those beings has to offer. And when you master all that your soul needs and requires from you to experience, then you can ascend and you are a master of that. So the ascended masters have already completed all their missions here on earth, and now they are either gone back to source, or they're using their skill sets to be able to support and help other planets at that time. And so that's how you create an ascended master, is someone who's profoundly experienced one planet and one civilization profoundly. And so many of those ascended masters have already completed this experience on Earth, being born now and coming in as walk-ins, as some full walk-ins, some partial. To be able to help, because they know profoundly the ins and outs of humanity's obsession with lower emotions, and be able to master that and move forward from that. And so that's how we would terminalize what an ascended master is.
Okay. I was reading some information recently that said that ascended masters, in relationship to Earth, were supposed to, in their purposes, that they were supposed to teach humanity. But this source of information was saying, but in fact, that they were only sharing their knowledge with these much smaller group. Is there any truth to that?
Absolutely. When you want to teach humanity and only a very small percentage of beings are able to hear the information, even if you tell all of humanity your teachings, only a few will pick it up. We can say that Jesus, in some regards, was viewed as that. He came here to teach, and only a very small amount of people could listen and comprehend at the time. So you understand, and you've seen this many times in your own history, how people come and they want to teach their belief systems, connecting in through divine connections, through their own guides. They have no filter, they have no ego, so they can easily try to share their wisdom and truth. But as you know, it's only when the individuals themselves are open to be able to hear that, can they hear it and apply it. So yes, the ascended masters are here now to try and teach, but how you can teach someone is not by giving them lessons, it is setting examples. And so even the people who are, in quotation marks, bad, are also teaching people. So some of the bad people in your history have been ascended masters who have come here for the bigger role, to be the bad guy, to teach people what not to do, and how not to behave, and how not to control and manipulate. And so as much as you love these ideas of ascended masters being saviors and all heroes for humanity, they are, but they're just not how you assume they would be.
Mm, mm. I love that perspective. Thank you. Okay, and in I think connection with the ascended masters, I have a question regarding the Great White Brotherhood. Could you tell me who they are and what they do and what their purposes are?
We're saying this is another name for Arcturians. We're saying that
Mm,
channelers, don't know Arcturians, don't know the energy senses, and there's so many Arcturians overseeing humanity at this time that these are the wiser ones. Arcturians physically have different colors for their evolution of themselves, and so the Arcturians have that masculine energy. So they are assumed that they are men, even though they are not atomically male from your perspective. So again, it's the same group of beings that are here to help humanity that some people have tapped into and want to label them, and assuming that they are how they are perceived. Again, there's nothing wrong with labeling, but when you really understand that it's the same group of people with many different names, just like yourself, you are daughter, mother, sister, partner, friend. That you hold all of those labels.
True. That's so interesting. Um, and it just requires so much discernment, because some people, in using these labels, they will sometimes put these twists in a negative way, or a way that, it's just not real sure.
We want to say this is very important that you've brought this up, because we understand that there are many people who are channeling who have great fears, who come from fear base. So while they are able to connect, they're so afraid anything that is new to them, anything that is different, that they can't label, that they can't sense in its entirety, their purpose, go into fear. And so there is many claims, accusations that your future is very scary. Your future has got a lot of worries, and you're very, very, very vulnerable, and you must be afraid. And so I will keep telling you, be afraid, be afraid. I know the truth. I'm connecting to these bigger sources, and they are evil, evil. They want to be, we realize we are taking this way too far, but we want you to know that when you open your mindsets to being vulnerable to ETs, monsters, the boogeymen, whatever you want to label them as, when you feel like you are vulnerable, you will become vulnerable. That will lower your vibration, and you'll be afraid. And so we're saying to the people who are listening to many channelers who are wanting to talk about gruesome things, horrible things, and not give a metaphysical perspective on it, that they have another agenda. They're wanting to scare humanity without giving them the perspective of how to apply and approach that information. If they leave you hanging with fear, worry, and gloom, they have got a lot of inner work to do. And ideally, the listeners would use those as stepping stones to go, well, this does not resonate with me, because I don't believe I am vulnerable. I don't believe I am a victim of that, because I know I am protected. I know I'm not alone. I know my purpose here is to be an unconditional loving being. And the times for people to experience great torture and great hardship is truly past. You have to see everything purposeful. And while there are some people that are complaining about lack of money, lack of freedoms, that is merely just one way to be able to get you to look at your inner work. And so this is purposeful. This is not something that has been done to you as a punishment. This is giving you a great structure to guide you where you should be going. Stop resisting everything that we're putting in your path to help you move forward. Don't keep pushing on the fences. Walk through the fences, walk above it.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you. Many years ago, I had a book in my possession, and there was discussion about the creation of worlds, of universes, and how these creations, of course, had a purpose. Um, and I'm curious as to what the purpose was
Mhm.
in the creation of this planet, this, with humanity.
Yes, wonderful question. We love this. So, the creators of this world have been, in your terminology, ascended masters from other worlds. They have played the games in other worlds and have thrived and flourished and enjoyed and appreciated all of those lessons. And so, when they became graduates of being students to then leaders and teachers themselves, they then wanted to create their own universes to provide new experiences that they hadn't had before. And so you create this planet. We'll just talk about Earth right now. You created the planet was created to be an oasis, a haven, a 3D dimensional physical experience to be able to feel the emotions of connecting, we want to say, with tribes. We're wanting to say to have individual roles and to be able to, with your soul families, come and have these vacations of experiences because it was supposed to be such. It was a fun, great experience to come here to Earth to have these experiences. And it was supposed to be in balance and harmony while enjoying the physical experiences of what these bodies were able to do. So it was not as hard. It was not supposed to be so challenging. It was supposed to have some physical lessons, but it was truly supposed to be a fantastic experience that you could fondly remember back, not not how you are dealing with now, how humanity has evolved now is quite far from the light experiences that this planet was supposed to be able to host. And so it has changed quite dramatically. And it has been monitored many times. Many times there have been continents that have had resets, as you know. There's many times that we've had to step in and help support, help shift things along. It is we allowed humanity to have free will, so you could really profoundly have these experiences. And so when people have misused their free will, shall we say, and not considered others, things have got quite sideways. But there's great experiences here. This is extremely challenging for beings on this side to see how you are all coping with such chaos. But when we tap in and talk to you and hear you and hear how you're trying to cope with what you are seeing, you're not actually letting it be completely overwhelming to you. You've allowed yourself to grow with the information that you are seeking to find out why your inner self is saying your systems around you are just so confusing, so anti common sense, so anti unconditional love of others, so controlling. And so you're enjoying, and this is what we want to say to you very firmly, you are enjoying the entertainment of seeing all the nonsense around you. Because it's just right now, you're so detached from it. You are keeping yourself emotionally stable with your bubble, seeing everyone around you and thinking, gosh, it must be so exhausting living in such fear like that. And so while it used to offend you so greatly because you were so compassionate for how hard people were living, when you are truly in freak out mode, constantly living your lives, where is the joy in that? And while we do not like to see our loved ones freaking out so much in life, they are experiencing things so profoundly that they can't experience it in any other lifetimes. And so this is all very good. It's very, 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 very good from our perspective. But we understand while you're going through this experience, it has some roller coaster emotions.
Yes, it certainly does. Well, thank you for that answer. Um, and moving that question forward, will there be a different purpose for humanity on the new earth?
Yes, great question. Being in 5D, you get a new range of experiences that are so profoundly exciting. And so, while many people here have already mastered all of the range of emotions and are simply waiting for the shift, when you go into the fifth dimensional experience, there is so much new things for you to explore and expand upon. This is why everyone here right now was being squeezed into releasing all their inner work. And so when you have released all your inner work, which is being able to see everything from a greater perspective and be able to have unconditional love and not let it hold you back. Because when you can't have unconditional love for something, that only just limits and blocks you. And so moving forward to the new earth and the fifth dimension, there is much more things that you're able and capable of doing. Now that you've controlled and mastered your mind, not gone into fear, then you can see how manifestation is so instant. How you can control energy so profoundly more than you ever have before, how you can connect with each other so profoundly like you've never done before. And of course, you have done it before in many different lifetimes, but this is a new experience for humanity to shift and evolve into. And so many people haven't had the opportunity to have experienced the fifth dimension before. And so there is much purpose in doing it all together and supporting each other, having different dimensional beings who are naturally at higher vibrations, supporting the ones that need to step into the fifth dimension for the first time. It is very supportive, nurturing, and loving and guiding. And this is going to be so rewarding for so many of the people who are desperately wanting to help humanity and just to understand how.
Mm, that sounds so exciting. So exciting.
It is long overdue. It is long overdue. It is long overdue. But we say we do not regret or see any harm in the extension of this and the delay of this shift, because every day you're profoundly growing more stronger within your own confidence, within your own empowerment here. And the people who have done their inner work are loving these days because it's so exhilarating to see how they can manifest amazing things for themselves. And this is what the vehicle is experiencing, and this is what many people in the group are experiencing, is when you focus on profound happiness and joy and turning the perspectives of once were doom and gloom and victim mode into I am blessed, I am in joy, I am surrounded in love, and I am loving myself even when you are cleaning your floors. It will shift your perspective into such a high dimension. And we are loving the growth that we're seeing. And as the group is supporting each other more and more every day, energetically, with words of physical words and your connections that you have, you cannot see how greatly advancing you all are together. You're so strong when you're together, and it is such a joy for us to see that as we had hoped you would do, you've all come together to be able to support each other, and that it gives us great joy.
Mm, it's giving me great joy as well. Greatly enjoying
Mm.
um, being a part of it. Um, and I have a question um, regarding, well, this is the role of, or if there will be a role of astrology on the new earth. Will there be a new astrological system of some kind?
Yes, it will be, because you're in a completely different location that is quite foreign. So you will be not able to see the systems that you are able to see in this planet now. So it will be all very different. There will not necessarily be such importance at first, because there are so many physical things that you can experience. So It will be mastering your own empowerment and controlling and manipulating energy, and physically experiencing all of the new things you can do. So eventually, people will get more curious about the solar systems that are around them, and to work out the significance and importance and tapping into that. It is about knowing and recalling the history of the galaxies. We are at the new place, located on the new Earth. So it is very purposeful what everyone will be interested in doing. But it is not as it will be intriguing, but it will not be as important to understand other planets as such for a while. And we say to people who think that this is their big passion, that's the only thing they want to focus on. Physically, you're going to be wanting to master your body and your minds and experiencing the basics of 5D, and that will be so enjoyable. There's so much to learn and grow from. And so you will start having these hobbies and questions, because when you feel like you've almost mastered the fifth dimension of the new Earth, you will be interested in what else, what's next for me? Where else can I explore and go to? And so there is much, the experiences and lessons that you can have and attain in the new Earth is limitless.
Mhm. Fantastic. Fantastic. Um,
We want to say a slight amendment of that. It is limitless for the information that you can get in 5D. You can tap into some higher being to get information that way, but it is not, you will not know the secrets of all the worlds and everything. There will still be some mysteries, because we're wanting to allow you to just focus on the dimension that you're in and what you can have access to and learn from. So it's just like this lifetime where you have the veil, where you can't remember who you are and the experiences you have had profoundly. So you're focusing on this lifetime and everything that's around you, and that's very purposeful. And just like when you're in the fifth dimension, you will have the same thing, but you'll have more vast information that you can know. But there will not really be a purpose of you focusing on, say, the ninth dimension as such, because you're still needing to master the fifth. So we understand many people want to jump ahead, but there is a very big purpose of why you're still where you are.
yes. Yes. Um, okay. Well, that's interesting. Thank you. Um, we were noticing earlier today that the Schumann resonance um, had a big gap in the information presented in the graph. Was there a timeline jump, or what can you tell us about that?
The Schumann resonance can only pick up the smaller ranges of the frequencies that are being provided on the Earth. And so when there is an extreme jump, it can't pick it up. And so it almost goes into default system. Ironically, it's had many of these blankouts. And it is just when it cannot pick up the higher frequency. So it almost has a meltdown. They think it's an error. And so they just don't know how to record it, because it just cannot be recorded. So part of it is man blocking the information because they think it's false. And also the equipment cannot register the bigger ranges that are happening. You know the earth is being marinated in the most profoundest of energies right now. And this is why people are struggling to hold that energy. There is a lot of ascension symptoms that are happening in people's bodies, not being able to sleep, feeling very elevated and giggly and high on life. There is a lot of things that are happening for people right now as the energies are being profoundly turned up higher than has been in a long while. Actually, we're saying right now you're in a high state, and we're wanting to keep it high. So you're going to feel very exhausted. because it drains a lot of your energy having so much to hold on to. It is exhausting holding on to big energy. And especially when many people are not able to ground themselves and release it down, or purposely you're supposed to hold the energy for a longer time. And so it is, everything is so stimulating in your body that it is, it's a great, we want to say, your metabolic rate is even raised with this. It's stimulating for your minds and your bodies. So if people are feeling very down and depressed and full of anxiety, we say that this is pressurized because of the high vibrations. So they have, as we would see, many inner work that is holding them down, many darker emotions that they haven't been able to release and let go and forgive themselves and forgive others and accept things as they are for a greater purpose.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, that was all the questions I have on my list. Can I ask regarding any current information you can give us? Any updates that you can share for the coming week?
Yes, the coming week. Yes, there's a lot of information coming out in the coming week as more and more of the Americans just opening up their states, and it's going to confuse many people why suddenly this shift when they're so afraid of the virus still. They will feel confused, they will feel unsafe, but that will not last long as the truth comes out. We're still seeing, we're all waiting for the people to use their free will to announce to the public what has been going on. They are not, the people who are wanting and needing and requiring to share their information to the public, they are not in any rush. They are very serious with their roles, and they are very methodical with their decisions and their planning. They are not knee-jerk reactionary people by any stretch of their imaginations. In fact, they're absolutely quite the possibly opposite of that. So they're very sturdy with their approaches. They do not feel that they want to rush humanity into finding out this bigger information. They feel very responsible for how many people will be in shock from this information. So they are hesitant. They're wanting to get all their ducks in a row, shall we say. And so they're not in any rush because they feel the pressure greatly of blowing people's minds with the information. They are not really in connect to the collective of humanity, because if they were, they're so busy with their work and they're so they only connect with their colleagues that they actually don't really get the pulse of humanity, who already is quite aware and waiting. So there is much resistance for many reasons, but they are wanting, when everything does come out officially, that it is so well presented that they do not want to trigger the civilians, because they see civilians as a softer breed of human, because they have been so trained in their military systems to see things as operations versus anything else. And so they are being more considerate for humanity than they possibly need to be. And so this is why the delay is. There is many reasons, but we're wanting to give you compassion and insight into those people who have very big pressures of the weight of the world on them right now. They're physically feeling it. They're feeling very strained. And they do not want to make one mistake when they're delivering their information to humanity.
Mm. Well, I can certainly understand why. I had read that we would probably have the big announcements by the the 9th, I think is what I had read. So that doesn't sound too encouraging that that's going to occur.
Mm. Well,
Uh,
it is when they are going to be given divine support themselves and encouragement to just push on. They're getting so much pressure from everyone else. It is a big team. It's not just one man or a few men. This is a big team, and there is many working parts to it. They are concerned about retaliation. They have had many interesting experiences where they have had to really use their military force to sort out some things that they have been exhausted to sorting out. So um, it's still ongoing, but we see that there is a lot of big shifts and changes that have allowed them now to get that step closer. But they can't make it public when they are not 100% confident that everything is under their control and that there is nothing that's going to come back and surprise them. They don't want retaliation, they don't want terrorist attacks from this. And so they're not worried truly about one country. They're worried about these groups who are wanting to retaliate from the pressure that they've been received because they've been so heavily displaced. So they're making sure that there is still those rogues, because it is just a few rogues now, that they are contained. They have humanity's safety in their best interests as their priority. So while everyone's waiting for the information to come out publicly, you're still being protected by these men. And while if they understood us, knowing that we are protecting humanity profoundly more, it is still their roles and their experiences, and this is their life purpose. So, if they could understand that we're here divinely protecting them, they could make a faster move. But they are professionals. They take their roles very seriously, and so this is fine. This is all playing out. And again, as we reminded you, the lessons you're learning every day to master your minds and see things from a bigger perspective is just going to empower you more and more and more. And we want you to be empowered more and more and more. And so we're enjoying and seeing this all. But we understand that you're wanting to understand why there is all these delays.
yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that.
We understand it is like you're watching a checkers game and you can see a jump that's 5 times easy over. And you're just waiting and waiting, and you can see it's so easy. Just jump, 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 and you've won the game. And it's so easy, but you're waiting and watching, and you're not the players of the game. You're merely experiencing the game with them. And we understand you're trying to put pressure on everyone to just jump, make the moves, win the game, and it already has been won truly. And so you can just relax knowing that the game's already won.
Well, that's fantastic. And thank you. Thank you for everything, for coming in today and talking with us.
Well, we were very excited and more than happy to help you because we understand you have some really great questions, as you did for us. And we love these conversations with you because we want to be able to give you the metaphysical purpose and reasons for things, just to reassure you everything is going well, because everything is going perfect.
That's what we want to hear. Is there any final messages today?
If things do not roll out within the week, it cannot keep just dragging out like this. And so appreciating your days that you do have and not waiting for anticipation will make the days more enjoyable. Put it out of your mind and almost let yourself be surprised with this information as you're focusing on your daily lives and the people that are important to you. And we still see that there is so much self nurturing and loving that all of you can be doing for yourselves. So don't use this time to worry and to doubt and to go into fear and impatience. Use that time and energy to treat yourselves and honor yourselves and do something that gives you great joy.
Beautiful.